Some of these comments are just get me going.
Yeah, the comments are good.
You gotta put the episode 6. Do you have to do the title again or no?
You know, yeah, it's not showing it.
You know what I've noticed? That most of our videos don't have the correct titles.
When it goes on?
Yeah.
It should. Like, this one should be... It says the video is unavailable, but it should be going. It said we were live.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, yeah? It's showing it now?
Yep.
Well, hello, guys. How we doing?
Hello, everybody.
Go.
Thought Process, back at it again. Live streaming from Newport Beach, California on a beautiful afternoon. Greg.
Just playing some chess and drinking some whiskey and some coffee and some water. All diuretics.
So, Greg, today's podcast name is 3 Steps Ahead. It's brought to you by the chess game that I just lost.
You were learning how to play, so...
Yeah, actually, Greg, do you know what the origins of chess is?
I don't know the origins, no.
Like, why did it become a thing? Was it something that had to do with war, I assume?
I don't know. I guess it's some way to learn how to
why don't you check on that
ahead
really
and
quick?
get some plans.
Why don't you check on that really quick? I would really like to know where chess originated from. Today was this was the game that we just had, Greg.
Uh-huh.
That was my first official game. I'd never played before.
So, do any of the what do they call that? The not innuendos, like when people say think 3 steps ahead.
Like the sayings?
Yeah. Were there any sayings when you were playing where you're like, okay, I got to do that?
No, not yet, because I didn't know the moves 3 steps ahead. Like, I didn't know. I had to think about it as I was playing. So
yeah.
I had like 1 step, then maybe 2 steps, but I wasn't 3 steps ahead.
Yeah. All right. So
got that one.
I don't know why this is India. The earliest, it says chess origination. The earliest predecessors of the game originally originated in India before the 6th century AD. A minority of historians believe the game originated in China from India. The game spread to Persia when the Arabs conquered Persia. Chess was taken
Greg.
up by
Persia.
Is that Persia? Dude, I do that all the time.
Bro.
I read pterodactyl as pterodactyl once.
Oh man,
it's bad. Was taken up by the Muslim world and subsequently spread to Southern Europe. So I guess it originated
in India. But why? What was it from? Like, was it a due to warfare, or what does it say, Greg?
It's just talking about the origin. Oh, I clicked China. It's not working. I don't know, but I mean, it could have just been something that was fun. It probably didn't even start the same. What? Romantic chess. Romantic chess was a predominant chess playing style from the late 15th century to the 1880s.
Probably relative to the Kama Sutra.
No. Doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of reading.
But what does it say the origin?
It originated in India during the
game
Empire.
It was just a game to pass the time. Was it through the military? I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that it was like a war game.
I mean, yeah, if you say there's a king, a queen, there's knights and...
But that's when it became westernized, because they didn't have kings and knights and... But, like, their pieces looked way different than the ones that we have.
Well, yeah, because it came from different places, so it's just based off of what you would find strong.
So this is, like, English, European style?
Yeah, I think that's what it said.
Yeah, right?
From Europe.
Okay. Well,
so anyway, probably
I got my
from
ass handed.
Well, because I've seen like medieval ones, and I've seen like the Indian and cowboy ones that my dad has, and this is just This is basic. Like those are supposed to look like castles. Some more medieval time kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, you were saying about 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, we were when we were playing, you kept making moves that like didn't make sense, where like there was no defense to it. So you were thinking moves ahead, but you weren't thinking my 3 moves ahead as well, which you have to do. So it's not really 3 moves ahead. It's more like 6 total because you got to move, then I got to move.
Interesting. 'Cause see, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about being more offensive, and well, honestly, I was just trying to figure it out. It's a new puzzle that I've never tried before, so keep practicing.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, you get bored of it eventually, but that's why you can give up. Have you ever played like really long lasting board games? Like I used to play this Lord of the Rings one. It would take like 6 hours to complete. And it's kind of like a mixture of like risk and I guess it's more like playing the Civilization computer game where you build up your troops and then eventually you go and you destroy things, and it's really fun. You just have to get people who want to know how to play it and can play them quickly, so it doesn't last as long because you get bored after a while.
No,
that's why I hate Monopoly.
Competitive people get competitive quickly. Like dude, I've been in some games of Monopoly where one of our friends just gives up and flips the board over. I'm like, oh, there goes the whole night. There goes the whole 6 hours we put into this damn game. Just like that.
I can't do Monopoly.
But Monopoly's that way. Uno can get like that sometimes. Gets pretty hectic. Then you have like other ones like, you know, the fun ones that are coming out now, like Cards Against Humanity.
Oh yeah,
those are pretty fun.
Yeah, those are hilarious.
Those are hilarious, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I actually like a lot of those games that everyone can just bring their phone and connect it to like the Chromecast or like Apple TV and all that and just play. Those are really fun.
Where do you get those on Android, right? Your Android phone?
I mean, I do because I have Android phones, but that's the thing. You got to find games that are cross compatible so everyone can go for it. Because
yeah, those are cool. I think Xbox has some too, right? You have some games where you can connect. You can connect your mobile device and you can play with it.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't even played with any of the new systems. I think for 2 systems. Like there's been 2 new systems since I've played.
What are the last 2 systems that came out?
Maybe it's only one. I had the Xbox One. Or no, was it Xbox 360? Was that one? Yeah, because the Xbox 360,
Dude,
Xbox
Xbox
One.
One's probably one of the newer ones. No, now it's the Xbox X. I don't know what that. I'm so out of touch with gaming.
Not me.
I don't know. So you would know more than I would.
Well, yeah, but I'm not in console games.
PC games, guys. PC games.
PC Master Race.
PC Master Race.
But speaking about games, actually, do you think that games are bad?
I think that they're both good and bad.
Okay. Can you... Let me assume that when you say good and bad, you mean that it can be bad if that's all you do?
Yeah, I mean, like everything else, I think it could be misused where I have a problem with it. You know, how I have a problem where kids nowadays aren't going out as much as we used to when we were younger.
Okay.
So that would be the only problem.
So say they go out all the time. Would that be an issue?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. What do you mean?
Because it's like you would say that people are using things in excess, right? So you're playing too many games or you're working too much. But would it be the same thing about them always being outside and not experiencing something else?
No, I would think that the balance would be key. If you can play video games be responsible with whatever you have to do, and video games are the way you express yourself, fine.
Okay. Well, that's one of the things I want to talk about because I actually think that I have an issue with that.
With what?
With playing video games in general.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
I don't know. It's just something that I enjoy and it's easy to do and you don't have to worry about anything.
What did you have to worry about having, like, internet?
Well, that's different. Like, sure, there's things that you have to worry about, like common sense. Like, you can't just, like, everyone's all talking about plugging into the Matrix. Like, you can't just plug in and be good. Like, your body still needs things. Like, maybe you can ignore taking a shower or you can skip a meal here or there. But if you stop eating for a week, you're dead.
Yeah, wasn't there, like, some case in Japan where a kid played for 4 days straight and died from no sleep and dehydration?
I've heard of stories like that, but I feel like a lot of those stories get blamed on the, like, oh, he played games this long. But people who usually can stay up for like 4 days straight usually have a sleep problem. So that's probably what killed them.
What, not sleeping?
Yeah. Well,
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it's not
like,
that the game was something that they did that kept them awake, but they were probably going to stay awake and they would probably die from that, what is that called? Medical issue. They probably would have died from that. So it's not the game that did it. Like, it's not that they stayed up because the game was there. They probably,
well,
like,
they
have you stayed up for 4 days straight?
No, but
I
the kid
don't.
was consciously playing. So that's all he wanted to do. He didn't want to sleep. He didn't want to lose his place. He wanted to win at whatever game he was playing. He was just trying to get better, better, better. It became an addiction where he chose playing games over sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And his body eventually just gave out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean,
you can look it up. You can look it up. It happened in Japan. And this was probably back when, I would say, one of the, what was it? COD?
a lot of
Call of
crazy
Duty?
things happened in Japan.
I think it was Call of Duty. You might want to check it out.
It was probably World of Warcraft, because a lot of crazy people died from World of Warcraft.
No, so Greg's gonna go on Google and look up Japan kid who died playing video games. I'm pretty sure it was from no sleep.
A man dies after 3-day internet gaming binge.
There's
It's
3
CNN.
days. Damn.
Diablo 3 death. Teen dies after playing game for 40 hours straight.
See?
Yeah, but come on, you can.
But he
I don't
died.
know.
Like, he consciously played. He was just. I don't know.
I don't.
That's a debatable.
Yeah, but I mean, I
topic.
stayed up for 40 hours before, and I didn't feel like I was gonna die.
48
Like-
hours is not 72 hours. Have you been up I heard of people who have gone with no sleep. They start hallucinating. Their mind starts going, like, you cannot not sleep. In fact, I think that I've read somewhere that sleep is more crucial than food and water. So if you're stranded somewhere, it's better to get your sleep first and rest, and then go get your food and water.
I don't know about that. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you have the food, because if you sleep, you're asleep for 8 hours. That's 8 hours without food right there.
Dude, there's no way in hell you're gonna be sleeping for 8 hours comfortably outside somewhere. I would
mean,
say it's
if
3
you
to
don't have
4
food-
hours. That's what I'm saying. Like, but okay, here in the civilized world, sleep is more crucial than water and food.
Maybe because there's an abundance of both of those.
That's what I'm
where
saying.
we sleep less, so it's better. Whereas in somewhere else, they probably don't do as much. Like, they're not staying up through the night because they don't have electricity. Where during the day they don't have that much food, so sleep is easier.
Could be. When I've even seen studies. We can look them up or put them in the description later, where they've seen correlations between no sleep and dementia and Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, like, when you sleep, your body flushes out the toxins from your brain, and since you don't sleep, people don't sleep, and you know, in our fast-paced world here in the States, sleep comes second to a lot of people, and so the toxins build up, and they become like some sort of plaque. Like imagine not brushing your teeth for a year, and then you go to the dentist. They're like, "Yo, you're gonna get drilled, basically." But because there's no cleaning, there's nothing that you can do with your brain with those plaques.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they can create strokes. They can build up, block blood vessels, and then ultimately, they also I guess they build up where on your neural connections are, and so you're not receiving the information, and that's why people start forgetting things. Like your memory loss is one of them.
Okay.
So that's correlated to no sleep, from what I've read on the studies, and we can fact check them if you like. We can even put them on the description after we finish the podcast. But no sleep kills you.
I mean, it can, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think like after a day of no sleep, it's gonna kill you or anything.
So what in particular changed your mind about gaming? Because you've been a gamer since I can remember.
I mean, I've always liked doing it, but like there was a time where my ex hated it, so you don't do it. Then you have kids, so you don't do it, so you don't have free time ever to do it. And so that's why I kind of stopped. But it was always something where like I was sitting at the house watching a movie or something, and I'm just like, I was so bored, and like all I could think about is playing a game, but didn't do it because I couldn't. And so I don't know, it's always something in the back of my head that I was like, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it. And I think it's kind of weird to think about it, because like it could be an addiction that doesn't necessarily, like a functioning addiction, I guess. But at certain points for certain things, the functioning addiction is not functioning. So like, say I waste time playing a game that I should be doing, I don't know, going to work or having a second job to have more money or something like that. I don't know. So it's in that sense, it could be something that's not functional, that it's passively not a consistent issue, but still you can see that it's wasting time.
Is it getting in the way of your life?
You might want to see. I could think so. I can't hear that a little. I think it is. I think it can, but at the same time, like I've been working on doing like different streaming services, like how we're doing the podcast here, and streaming games. It's obviously not successful or working, so it feels more like you're wasting time than it is actually doing something. But because you like it, you're just like, whatever, I'll keep pushing, see if it works. So it's like,
but wouldn't you agree, just the same way we're starting out here with no followers, virtually we're just talking between you and I, and like we said it before, we do this on a consistent basis, where why not just put it up? Like maybe somebody will learn something from it.
That's
maybe
one of the
just
things
talking out of our ass sometimes, but
like I keep wanting to just be like, all right, I'm done playing. Okay, so sure, I'm a little bit more productive in the things that I do. I get more done, but I still waste enough time. Like when I feel like I'm done with something, I go home and I watch a movie, or I'm on my phone, or I go out for dinner. I'm changing what I'm doing, but I'm still wasting time in a sense. So what's the difference between watching a movie or hanging out with a friend in a fun kind of way, not in a necessarily productive way? How's that any different than, say, I was addicted to a video game and I just sat there and played video games? There's no difference.
So
I don't think.
There's I wouldn't say that there's any differences. I consider all of them entertainment, but I feel like you need some sort of entertainment still. Like, you can't just always be productive all the time. There's not, like, we're not built for that.
Yeah,
We
but
get
like how I
distracted
said,
too easy.
people are. That's why it's confusing between what you would call an addiction and what you would call something you enjoy to do. Because there's people who like to work. There's people who like to sit down and study and learn things, and that's what they prefer to do. Where outside of that, say they have to go to work and they have to take care of their kids or something like that. That's what they do because they have to get that done. But when they want to, they're sitting down working or studying. And like, that's what they enjoy. Are they addicted to learning?
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, I have a friend who's addicted to learning. I don't even know if I would consider it an addiction. I mean, I feel like I'm a little addicted to learning. I feel like I'm in this time in my life where I want to know more. I don't know if it's because the maturity, or maybe as you get older, you start seeing less answers. You start not you. There was a saying that I heard the other day. With, let me see if I don't want to. I'm probably gonna butcher it, but it said something around the lines of the older you get, the less you know, or the more you know, the less you know. And I feel like that's so true. I don't know why. I don't understand what is happening where you get older, you start maturing and seeing the world for what it is. And it just seems like you know less.
yeah, I think a lot. It's not that you know. I mean, I guess you know less because you don't care about the things you don't need to know. Like, why does it matter what the person in the next... Like, do you know what the person in the next office does? Are you super interested in knowing? No, not until something happens. So it's that you just don't care about other people. Or you don't care about what Joe Slow-Mo is doing. Like, social media, people were sad when... what's his name? I was going to say Tom Hanks. Who's the guy from Flubber?
Robin Williams?
Robin Williams. There were people on the streets crying who've never met him, who've never even seen him. Sure, you enjoyed his movies, but why? Like, I don't understand. Why are you crying about that? Like,
well, I think that's explained because people, like, human nature, us as people, we tend to create emotional connections with other people who we don't even know. We tend to create emotional connections with material things. Like, let's say someone kicks your car, and they put a dent in it. You're like, oh, hell no. Like, you did not just do that. You get mad, right?
Yeah.
I think that's just part of human nature. And when it comes to celebrities, it's like Robin Williams was a very, very big, funny, successful guy. In everything he did, the comedy, movies, everything he did, he was good at, right? So, I feel like people who grew up with him, they're like, man, this guy, like, I can't believe this guy did what he did. You know, he left the world this way. I mean, I know a lot of people who were hurt when MJ passed away too. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like people just create emotional connections, and maybe they don't even know they're doing it. They just do it unconsciously.
Yeah. Another thing too, what, like, old people seem to not care about a lot of things as much, is it's like when you get something. Like, say you worked so long to get this laptop that I have. I was like, cool, I'm gonna get this laptop. It's got 4K 4K screen, touch screen, has the top of the line that you can get in a laptop, and I got it first week, first day. You're super excited. Oh, it's going to be here tomorrow. Then you get it, then you use it for a week, then you have it, and it's in your backpack for a month, and then you just, oh, it's my laptop. Pull it out, use it. Not impressed anymore.
You start.
And
yeah,
since your list so long, you're like, I've seen it. Don't care. It's
like
okay.
we move on very rapidly from things, but other times like you become emotionally invested in things. Like, I don't know. I like when I was a kid, I used to hold on to all my toys.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even go buy new ones. I would just be holding on to the toys that I had. I don't know why. That was just the way I grew up. You can see that now with my cars, or with my car. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's logical to want to get rid of it, but then again, it's like, oh man, like it's my baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think all of that is correlated to the same thing. It's just our human nature. I think that's just the way we are. It's just embedded in us, you know?
Mm-hmm. Do you think that, like how I said, let's throw a hypothetical thing out there. Let's say someone was addicted to cars. They liked anything that had to do with cars. They liked just going to look at cars. They liked knowing everything about parts that went into a specific car, and they're addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they want to do. They go to work. They're on a website looking at cars, looking up this piece, that piece. They're putting together knowledge.
Yeah.
But it's an addiction, and it's hurting other parts of the life. But you can still take that and put it into something that's good. Like, you can double down on that.
Yeah.
And turn it into something that could be positive.
I feel like if that's your passion, why not double down like you just said? And why don't you just do that if that's your passion? And let's say you're not very good at, I don't know, office work.
Mm-hmm. And
you find something else. If that something else fulfills you, you can monetize it. Basically, you can make money from it. I don't see why you would spend all your life in an office hating your life, as opposed to being or doing the whatever you would like to do.
But see, like, it's harder to build something and make sure that something's working, because you can't just be like, oh, I like doing this guy, he loves cars, but he doesn't have enough money to buy any of these cars,
so that's
do any of these
that's
things.
The thing, right?
So like, it could be hurtful.
Yeah, when you decide to follow your passion, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy in anything. If artists, most of the artists that we're all aware of who we know,
mm-hmm.
all the masters and everybody who were the greats, most of them hated their work. It was never good enough. Look at bodybuilding. You're never big enough. Everything's that way. But there's always a start. Like at the beginning, no gains, no muscle mass. You have to take at least a year for you to start seeing some big results. And that's why people get discouraged. You know, they don't spend the time and energy, and they don't put it into their passion for it to become anything. That's actually one of the things I'm telling you. Every podcast, every episode, I keep reiterating it. And it's pick something, stick with it. Eventually, you'll see the fruits of the labor. That's why we're still here. And it's just us. We're doing this podcast. But the goal is to do 1,000 episodes and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's actually something that I did in the car. I was thinking about like achievement systems that are reachable,
like milestones?
Well,
like goals?
I guess
goal
goals,
setting?
but there'd be more like achievements, because you understand there's always something further than that. So let's say run a mile in 15 minutes. You put that as your first one. Majority of people can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that difficult. You would have to walk most of the miles to get more than 15 minutes. So you set that your first one. You achieved it. Cool. Next one's 14. Next one's 13. So like I was going to try to hold my breath for a minute in the car. I lasted 37 seconds.
In the car while you're driving?
No, right now.
Oh, I was
outside.
like, what did you pass out?
Well, no, that's what I was thinking about that, and I was like, nah, I've held my breath for a minute before. And I hit 37 seconds. I was like, God damn it, I didn't do a minute. And then I was like, I can't do a minute. But it's like, it's just we give up on things, but at the same time, you think about, like, if you can or can't do something. And there are things that you can't do. Like, there are just things that aren't possible.
There's some things that you're not... Like, I'll never be able to dump.
Dump?
Or not dump.
You mean dunk?
Yeah, dunk.
Oh, see, that's one of the things that you can, dude.
I'm only 5'10".
It doesn't matter, dude. I was watching this video. I think the guy was 5'5", and he wanted to jump over or jump onto a van. And this guy trained. He trained, I don't know how long, but I watched like this whole video of his like transformation over, I would assume it was like at least a year. And he would train, he'd put weights on while he jumped, he would do like leg exercises, and then at the end of the video, this guy freaking, he flew and landed on top of the truck. Or it was a van.
What?
It was like my mom's van. He just, boom, and
like
jumped
one of those, like minivans?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, there are things that are doable, and there are things that, like, it's just, you're making things up. It's like being like, oh, by the end of this year, I'm going to be able to teleport across the room. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's no real... Okay, the simple answer to that question would be... I mean, it's so simple, man. It's basically just do the work. Start somewhere. If you'll find your way. You know, I'm finding that through building my own business. I'm making countless mistakes, day in and out. Day in and out, dude. Every day, something new is there. But then the next day, I won't commit that same mistake. It's a new mistake. It's basically like... let me see, what would be a good analogy? It's like you're in a sinking ship and you're plugging holes and they just keep popping up everywhere. Eventually, you're going to plug up the whole goddamn ship where it ain't going to sink.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Or you're going to have a brand new ship because all the holes became a brand new ship.
Exactly. Or you just buy a new ship, you know? But, I mean, I see that a lot, dude. Okay, so I'm in the middle of my 7th week of consistently working out, and I couldn't tell you the same people that go to the gym. They haven't. I probably have had more of a transformation in 7 weeks than they've had, and they've probably been there longer than I have. You know, they just. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what holds people back. I think it's
because they're not there. They're not there to put in the same type of work. So it's the same thing. How I say, let's say, like the whole car thing. That there are people who
like cars,
and then there's people who use the cars to push themselves forward. So just because this guy knew everything about cars but didn't use it, and this person knows some about cars and used it, they had different outcomes. And so it's the same thing with the gym. So they have the gym, but they're not using it to create what they want. They're using it to create what they see, or trying to create.
They're trying to emulate things rather than creating things. Mm-hmm. So, like, dude, I see people at the gym looking at Instagram while they're working out. They're just going through Instagram and taking a break, or they're texting, or they're doing this. The one sure way of fat loss is not stopping. Like, you hit it as hard as you can, go until you can't do it anymore, rest, and do it again for the second rep, you know? Yeah, I mean, just people are so distracted nowadays. They don't know where they're going.
Yeah.
And I guess entertainment, like we talked in the last episode, entertainment, being entertained, dude. The internet is taking people's attention away. We're
You know what?
being not robbed because it's we're lending our attention to other things that are not as important. And sometimes we give them too much attention that it doesn't even deserve. Like, if you go on your Instagram or you stop going on your social media for 1 week, did you miss anything?
No. Well, I mean, you can miss things, but nothing that.
I mean, would you have
Affects you
missed
directly.
something that would affect you directly?
No.
No. And that's the thing. Like, if you didn't play video game, or if, a supposed person did not play video games for a year, did they miss anything not playing video games?
No, I mean, like how I said, I didn't play anything for like 3 years, and
And
I mean, did I miss out on things? Sure. Did I miss
Like
out
what?
on? I'll call it a community, I guess. Did I miss out on understanding things from the past? Sure.
But did you
But
did
did
you
I-
gain something from not being there? I'm sure you gained
Gain?
a
Sure.
second, actual real community.
I got a good job, and I made a couple friends, but like, I don't know. It
Friends
didn't,
that would
it
have your
wasn't,
back. I don't
Huh?
know. I would say like friends that would have your back. If you were on PC, you think those people got your back, man?
You think the friends that I made had my back? Nope.
Okay, calling this shit out. We're going. All right, man. We're putting this shit on the spot. No, I'm just kidding, dude.
But no, like,
I don't know, man. But you've made other friends. Like 2 bad apples from 10 apples.
I guess I've made 2 friends.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
it's not bad. So I mean, how's the dating life now,
The
Greg?
dating. That's not happening. I have too many issues going on already.
Maybe you're
with
playing
myself.
too many games, bro.
But see, that's what I was talking about with the whole addiction concept. Is that's what I do all my spare time. Like I went
Okay,
out.
but what? Okay, let me before we go any further. What other thing do you have, Greg, that should deserve your time?
I don't understand
Besides,
what you mean.
like besides, the kid, besides your kid, which deserves all your time. Besides your kid, what other thing do you have in your life that deserves your time?
I mean, at the moment, I can't think of anything.
That's why you're looking for something, and your mind is going to the thing you know, which is video games.
And is that? That's
It's
the thing.
not. I wouldn't
I
even
think
call it
it's-
an addiction, man.
I
think
could say
would
it's
be,
bad. I would say that it's bad, but I want to know how I can turn it into something that's good.
Okay, Greg. If tomorrow, let's say, you're at home, and I was like, "Hey, Greg, I'm out of work early. Let's go grab some lunch." Are you gonna deny me for lunch and to play video games?
It depends. I have done it before, yes. And
Bro, you probably did that in high school.
I can tell you I did it in the last 3 months.
In the last 3 months.
Yes.
You motherfucker. Guys, we need an intervention for Greg. I am tired of this shit. Greg, I'm telling you,
that
man.
also confuses me because they always say if you have an addiction, you're not going to admit that it's an addiction. But see, at the same time, you can still admit it and not do anything about it. So it's like, if I had to, I wouldn't destroy everything else to have it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like, I won't
feel-
ignore my responsibilities. Like, I'm not going to sit at home and play video games all day and skip picking my son up from school. Like, that, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Like, I may decide to, like, I don't have him all the time. So say, like, I don't have him on a Wednesday. So maybe I wake up on a Wednesday and I don't do anything. I don't, like, I mean, I still shower and get ready and go and eat. And, like, I don't ignore being alive. But maybe I'll just sit there and play games all day. To tell you the truth, I do try to get like a stream going like how we're doing this, but I don't think I'm putting in the correct work for it to actually work.
I mean, even here, like the way, I mean, what we have here, as opposed to not having anything, I say we're doing okay. But in fact, I want to talk to you about taking this to the next level. You know, maybe in the next month we will have a new studio, an actual studio where we can finally make some stuff happen. All of this stuff has been more of tryouts and seeing whether we have it in us or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've been consistent. We may not always be there, like mentally, because we both have other things that take our attention away from this. But I think that if we put in the work, just like everything else, if we just put in the work and we try to get better at it from episode to episode, before you know it, we're going to be 1,000 episodes from now, and we're going to be looking back at this episode thinking like, look at those stupid guys. They had no idea what they were doing. But hopefully by then we will, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
that's the same thing with everything, man. The only way I see things right now is try to get better. Try to get better. It doesn't matter if it is waking up an hour early, if it's getting in at least a half an hour day of cardio. Like, I've been going to the gym. I feel pretty good. My anxiety has been zilch, zero, no more. I haven't had anxiety in a while. I mean, what else can I say? Like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get it when I think about, like, when I just think back about when it, like, the anxiety attack when it happened. But I think that's just fear. Like, I wouldn't want to feel that again, kind of fear. But if I ever do feel it again, then, like, at least I'll know, like, okay, it's just nothing's happening. I'll be able to get over it easier. But I don't know, like, what would I be able to, like, what other advice can I give you? I may not even have any advice that may help you, because I've never actually been in your position, both in family wise, and I liked games. I still like video games. I like video games. Like, you know, you put me in an arcade, I'm gonna play. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm not gonna play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't go out of my way to go and get a PC or go get a laptop or get the newest system. Like, but if it was up to me and if I had the money, dude, I'd be playing video games too, man. You know?
See, like, I see it a little bit more than just, I like video games. Like, I only play one. Like, it's not like I go around and do all these. Like, I don't keep buying things, and I play one. I play with a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know their actual names, but I know what they go by, like, in the game. Like, I know a few of their actual names, and I talk to them, like, 6 hours a day. Like, I talk to these people all the time. Like, I talk to them more than I probably talk to family or other people. So it's like, there still is communication with others.
But there's no connection, though. It's I wouldn't even consider it the same type of connection.
Well, then it would be the same thing, let's say, with, like, how we were just talking about Michael Jackson or what's his name? I keep blanking on his name.
Robin Williams. How dare you?
Like, it's the same thing with them. You never met them. You've never seen them. Like, but you know everything about them. They didn't know you existed. So, like, what? I don't see, like, where the difference is. Like,
I guess there wouldn't be any difference there, but the difference would be you. Like, you didn't receive anything from like Robin Williams didn't receive anything from those people. Michael Jackson didn't receive anything from those people other than their fanship. But personally, obviously they were lonely, right? Didn't matter who they knew. They were still lonely inside. And it's not because they had these big amounts of fans and they're uber successful people. It was because there was no emotional connection between them. There's a disconnect between the fans and the celebrities, and then you see it with YouTubers. Like, their fan base, they may know everything about the YouTubers, but the YouTubers probably still feel lonely because their fan base only knows them for the YouTube content that they're putting out, as opposed to sitting down and having a conversation and building this connection with them. I don't know, man. I think that's one of the most essential things, essential aspects of being a human, is being able to contribute to the community and be within the community. And then this is why I think that group thinking, the way the riots work, and now we have polar opposite sides of the spectrum in the political world. I think it's the exact same thing. People are trying to fill something, which is that emotional connection, through social media, through just online internet connections, rather than actually sitting down and talking to people. Because if you sat down and talked to people, it's particularly on the opposite side of the spectrum, there probably wouldn't even be a lot of discourse, because you would understand each other. You're like, oh, okay, so that's where you're coming from. Why do you disagree with this? You make sense of it, you rationalize it logically, and you probably make peace. But what do we have? We have people on one side of the spectrum on Twitter and on Facebook. All you get is hate comments. There's no validity to it unless you have a little check mark. You see what I'm saying? So there's a giant disconnect. There's a giant disconnect with the internet. And it's the same thing. I would think it's the same thing with gaming. Like, yes, you have this community, you play games, but outside of that, what do you have? Outside of that, what do you have? If you die tomorrow, what do you have outside of that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I guess maybe that's what causes sadness. It's just like people who, I guess, like how you asked me earlier, the dating life concept. There's nothing there. Why? 1, I don't talk to anyone. 2,
You gotta put yourself out there, man.
Yeah, but
by the way,
yeah, I guess
everybody, Greg's Insta handle and Twitter handle. Greg, what is it? This guy is single. He's
I
a
don't
good
even
dad.
know what the handle is, really.
It's
I
at
don't even pay
Greg
attention to that.
Gordon 98.
I don't even think it's that.
No? I don't know what it is, but you gotta give out your Twitter handle, bro. You got some people. You gotta. You have to have somebody slide into your DMs, man, because DMs are getting a little lonely.
The only person sliding my DMs is someone who's trying to sell me makeup or bodybuilding tips or something. Oh, it's Rufio9898.
One more time for the ladies out there.
Rufio9898.
What does Rufio mean?
Rufio? I got it from 2 things. There was the band in the 90s. I think it was in the 90s. Maybe it was in the 2000s. That's shaking a lot, isn't it? That's one big old plane.
So, we're in Newport Beach next to the airport, but I don't know. This one's a little weird. I don't think I've ever heard of one this close.
Yeah, I think you guys could actually hear the glasses shaking on the microphone. Yeah, you can hear it.
But we've had, dude, in the past 2 years, we've had like 4 planes go down here.
Yeah, it's been happening a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Like, there's been planes like landing on freeways and landing here and there.
Must be the 5G.
That's what I was about to say. Was it the 5G?
It must be the 5G, guys.
I don't really know much about 5G, but everyone's talking about it.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that plane freaked me out.
I did start hearing jiggling. I thought we were bumping something. I don't even remember what I was talking about before
Your
that.
Twitter handle, Rufio.
Oh, where it came from.
Yeah.
Uh,
Said there was an 80s band.
Yeah, there were. No, not the 80s. I wasn't even born in the 80s.
What are we
It was
talking
like the late 90s
Oh,
or
late
early
90s?
2000s. There was a band called Rufio that I was listening to. But then it was also from Peter Pan. Or no, it was from
Rufus?
Hook. Rufio, the guy with the mohawk, the red and black mohawk. That's also one of the places I got the name from.
Huh. Okay.
So I've used that names for a long
All
time.
the ladies know now. Slide into Greg's DMs. They're like the Sahara Desert. But yeah, man, I feel like, dude, you don't even need to. You don't even need to date around a lot. Like, find a couple girls who like to go to the movies, you know, like to get out, go grab some dinner, maybe.
Like, I don't remember if it was you I was talking to, but someone was telling me, oh, why aren't you out dating? And I was telling him, I don't think it's the right time to do it. Like, you don't ever go up to a 10-year-old be like, why haven't you gone on a date? Like, I think you should go check out a girlfriend.
Are you a 10-year-old?
No, but what I'm saying is, at that time of life, we all agree, like, it's not something they need to do. It's not something that any 10-year-old is really doing. And I think I'm in a I think I'm in a part of my life where I don't need that.
Okay.
And it's not something that I'll even find because I'm not where I need to be.
Let me ask you a big question, Greg. Are you comfortable where you are now?
No.
You're not comfortable?
No. I mean, I'm comfortable in a sense that I don't really have to worry about too much, but there are things that I have to worry about.
I'm not talking about like financial stuff. I'm talking about dating. Are you comfortable the way you are now?
As in being single?
Yes.
I mean, yes.
Okay. If you're comfortable there, that's one of the big issues. Is that you're comfortable.
Yeah, but see, like,
about
let's say, I'll put it this way. I have only dated. I've only gone on 3 dates in my entire life that I would consider like a date.
But that's where the problem is.
And it was within the last year, all 3 of them.
That's exactly where the problem is, Greg. We need to get you 1 to 10 dates.
No, because see, this is something that I was thinking about the last time that I went on a date, was that I don't enjoy the concept of meeting someone
at all.
Telling them like, oh, this is what I like. This is who I am. This is what my family does. This is what I do with my friends, and then done.
Okay.
Like, I don't enjoy that.
Okay, fine. So you don't like talking about yourself, but don't you enjoy finding out what other people like to do?
That's fine if you expect someone to be a friend, but I don't go into anything expecting something just to, like, oh, let's see what happens. Like, that's not how my brain works. Like, I go in and I want to, like, dedicate enough of my time to someone. Like, I don't want to just be like, oh, this, oh, this, oh, this, oh, this. Okay, peace.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not, like, why should I share this with that person? Like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That's a good question. Why should you have to share anything with that person, the stranger who you've just met? You don't. But this sense of community and establishing connections come from being open. If you're open to sharing a little bit about yourself, they're open to sharing a little bit about themselves, and then it turns into a conversation.
Like the last one I went on. It was fun. I laughed. She laughed. We had fun. Talked afterwards. But, like, once it was just, we were done with it. Or, I mean, in this case, she was done with it. Like, it just felt like, eh. Like
what?
Like, it almost just felt like breaking up with someone again. Like, just, like, a consistent thing of just breaking up with people. Like, spending time and energy on someone, and then just, eh.
Do you think maybe
it's not worth
it's afraid of denial.
Well, I mean, maybe
Fear
it's
of
that,
denial.
but it's like you don't. It's like, let's say, like you and Gabby. Like if you guys broke up, like you'd be sad. You'd be like, oh great, I did all this.
Yes,
we had
but
all
then
this
you
time
move
and now
on.
nothing.
But then you move on.
Yeah, but it's not as severe, but it's almost the same concept for me.
So
Like,
you gotta move on. Like nothing happened. This girl, maybe she wasn't your type. Okay, you move on. On to the next one. Because if you don't consistently look for the next one, how are you supposed to find the one?
But see, that's the thing. If you're consistently going out just looking for someone who just wants someone, like you're not gonna ever find it. You're gonna find a bunch of people who are just wanting.
Isn't
Like,
that what
that's why
isn't that
I've
basically
always
what
thought
you're
that-
saying that you're doing is that you're going out there to dedicate your time to?
Yes, I want someone, but at the same time, I've always thought that it's better to have friends or meet them as a friend, and then see that it's more than that. Enjoy each other's time, and it pretty much just manifests on its own. Not something that we're like on Bumble or Tinder, like let's go on a date, let's go sit down.
Well,
have
let
coffee
me
and
tell you,
talk.
Greg.
Like,
Some of our friends, man, have met on Bumble.
no, I
and
know
they're
it
pretty
can
serious.
work, and that stuff can happen.
Yeah.
But
So why? Are you
I don't think it's happening with the way I am, the way I think, the way I do things.
Okay.
'Cause-
So let's change the way you do things. Let's change the way you think. How about that?
I don't necessarily think.
3 steps ahead, motherfucker. Checkmate.
I don't think you can change the bottom line of most people. I don't think. That's
Okay, so
something that
actually,
happens.
that's very interesting that you say that because, it didn't come from me. I heard it from somebody else, who heard it from a therapist, psychologist, I believe. They said that people don't change all that much.
No,
Just-
like
I see it's true. I see, within myself. I see that that's a lot. That there's a lot of truth into that. But if you really want it, you really can change. If you really, really want to change, you really can change.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. If you really want it, you can change. But see, the issues when things like that happen, like say I want a girlfriend, right? Let's just say that. Do I really, really want one? No. So right there, I'm not going to change to get something that I just want. It's not something that's on the top of my list that I want. So, like, I'm not going to change it for it. Not in the way that, like, not in the way you're saying. Like, you need to go out and meet all these people. That's not the way that I think that it's going to happen.
I don't even
Like-
want you to go out to meet people for you to have a girlfriend. I want you to go out and meet people so that you can learn about people, so that you can learn what it is that you want. Because if you're always doing things in theory, which is what we keep coming back to, if you're thinking about things in theory, like, let's see, oh, you know what? I have the perfect workout plan. I follow everybody on my feed, Instagram. They got abs. I see their diets. I see everything. You have a master plan. But are you ever gonna take the step to engage into that plan? Are you ever gonna start doing something to get you closer to that plan? Are you ever gonna get out of that theory thinking and actually implement what you know? And that's basically the only thing I want you to take away from this whole conversation is, in order for you to find who you really want, you need to go through 10, 100, 1,000 people. Some people get lucky, man. Some people don't. That's just the reality of it. At the end of the day, it's up to you. It's not up to anybody else. Sometimes not even up to the girls, man. Like,
See,
they
like,
get bombarded
that's one
by
of the things
guys.
We were talking about. Oh, I guess we weren't talking about it today, so it won't matter. But like, these things didn't exist years ago.
What?
Like this Bumble, this Tinder, these.
Dude,
all these
they
different
had
dating apps.
pigeons,
So-
bro, pen pals. They were
Okay.
freaking writing letters to
But
each
my,
other.
But my point is
That was a
how,
Twitter
how did you
back
meet
then.
people before? I would say it's essentially
Church,
chance.
church,
where the places
religion,
you go.
church,
Yeah. And
yeah.
that's why it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why a lot of like businesses, like when I was a general manager, I was talking to my boss. And he's like, why is everyone getting in relationships in the restaurant? We have them sign this thing saying no
easy.
relationship.
That's easy.
And I told him, because there's only 3 places that people meet on their off time, which most of the time people only have 4 hours a day, so they don't go anywhere. So they have the 2 days on the weekend, which majority of the people in this profession work. So they don't go anywhere on the weekdays, which is their days off. So they don't meet anyone outside. 2, church. Majority of people in the restaurant aren't going to church. So 3 is work. That's why you have relationships.
Yeah,
Because it's the
at
places where
work,
people are all the time.
You're at work for 8 to 12-hour days in a restaurant. 12 hours of your day at the restaurant. Where else are you going to find some time to talk to someone?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And that's the truth for any other career out there that has long hours. But Greg, like you planning to find someone online? That's my question.
No, it's not that that's what I'm looking at. But my point is that that's not all I'm ever doing. Like there's times where I go out and do things. Like I've talked to just as many people
Okay.
outside that I do in.
Do you
but
understand the laws of attraction?
Nope. Yes.
Yes? No? What
I
is it?
understand what's been said.
Like what?
I don't necessarily agree with everything.
Like what? Give me some examples.
People say opposites attract,
That's kind of true.
but it's not completely true.
Well, nothing is completely ever true.
Like you don't
There's
you don't
no
want
absolute
someone who's
truth
opposite of
in
you.
everything in this. When it comes to people, there's no absolute truth. Unless you're talking about biological absolute truth, like
Well, it's like
I don't even want to get into it.
it's like if the opposite of good is evil. A good person doesn't want to be around an evil person. Like that's not.
Okay,
it's-
but
it's
you're
not common.
talking about the extremes. But what about somebody who doesn't like working out? And then somebody who likes working out. Sometimes the person who doesn't like working out needs some motivation. So they need someone who likes working out to get them to the gym.
Yes, so maybe things that you're not strong at that you wish the other person is strong at to make you better in it. Yeah, that's fine.
That right there, Greg,
But-
is the definition of a relationship.
Yeah, and that's fine. But you don't go out searching for someone who's better than you at all these specific things. Like that's not how you're gonna find someone who is any interest in what you like and that you have interest in what they like.
Well, it doesn't work like that. So let's say you meet someone on Bumble, you go to some coffee, you go get some coffee, and the first thing they're gonna say, "What is your name? What do you do?" Usually, that's usually the filters that women put you through. What do you do? So like, what is your career? Are you educated? Do you have money? And then within that same thing is your genetics. What do you look like? Like, what's your appearance? Women want to mate,
That's fine.
right?
And that's
They
how
want
we
to
were talking
find
about earlier.
They want to find a good mate. In that being said, they want to find a good mate.
Mm-hmm.
So
what you
they want-
just said right now,
Yes.
okay? You said based off of genetics. So if they like you, so if they went out on the date, they say I like you, they see you, they make their final decision. Let's just say everyone that I go out on a date with, that's a check. That's fine. 2, you said you have a job or you have money. Failed. I mean, technically I have money, but not. They would ask, where do you, like, what kind of work you do?
but
I don't
you
do it.
have
I
a
go to
plan?
school.
Do you have a
Do I
plan?
have a plan? Sure.
Okay, that's better than nothing. There's other men out here who don't even have a plan. They don't even have a job, or if they have a job, it's a mediocre one.
Yeah, but see, that's my
but
point.
you're
People
not
don't want to
comparing
jump
yourself-
into something that's not in a stable position.
Of course.
And so that's why, how I was saying, I don't feel like I'm in a position right now to deal with that kind of stuff.
But
Like
you're
I'm not in
talking
a
about
position at
serious
the moment
relationship. I'm
for
talking
anything.
about dating.
Yeah, but
dating is
but
different.
like I said earlier, I'm not into just dating people to date people. Like if I'm gonna go out, I want to try to build something with someone. I don't want this jump here, jump there just to see.
So this is
why
where
people
you're
think
answering
differently.
your own question. You're not looking to go on dates. You think it's a waste of time.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. What if you thought about it this way? What if on every date you go on, you're preparing yourself to find what it is that you really want, so then when that person comes, you step up your game? Or are you just
I
gonna
just
wait?
don't see how that makes any
Or are
sense.
you just gonna wait to find out? Are you just gonna wait until you're ready? Like no one is ever ready.
No, but see, there's a difference. It's not that you're ready. It's that you are ready for the other person. So if everything's checking for the other person, because a relationship has nothing to do with if you like yourself. It has nothing to do with that.
Of course it does.
It has to do with
no, of course it
your
does.
likeness to others.
No.
It totally does.
Of course it does, Greg.
No.
If you don't like yourself, how could you expect somebody else to like you?
The majority of people are fine with themselves. The issue that they have with themselves is issues that others have given to them. Like
You
when
mean
people yell at you
insecurities?
because you're fat, it's because you're upset that people keep calling you fat. Not that you're actually fat. Like if no one ever called
do
you
you know?
fat and made fun of you for being fat, you'd be perfectly fine being fat.
Dude, there's plenty
I've met
of
people who
out
are fat,
there.
who are called fat all the time, who flaunt it, who love it, who take off their shirt and shake their titties and be like, look at me, like I'm the best. Like there's people who don't care, and they're
Okay.
fine with that. And then there's other people who are fat and care because they care what other people are telling to them.
But that's only one aspect. There's a lot of insecurities, sure, but the insecurities come from within themselves. Not only because they were made fun of, it's because of the way you see yourself in the... Like, for us, do you like to listen to these podcasts?
Well, I mean, it's not that I like to listen to it because I experienced it. It's just kind of weird to sit down and watch
It's
them.
weird, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm starting to see. I don't like the way I look, or I don't like the way I sound. Like for me, my voice is a little weird,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna be like dwell on that insecurity. For like personally, like I feel like there's a lot of people who choose their own insecurities to dwell on, and then there's some, like you said, some people that are giving those insecurities by being bullied, being whatever. But the majority of the time, bro, like this is the way I feel. If you don't like yourself, if you don't love yourself, how could you expect somebody else to do it?
But see, that's not what I'm talking about.
Like-
It's not that I don't like what I'm doing. It's that I'm not in a position to give anyone all the things that they're wanting right now. Like, everything that I'm doing right now is...
Okay.
Bottom
Greg,
line, it's
what if-
essentially for me,
Yeah.
but obviously I'm doing it so that
For your
Oliver
future.
can have everything
And
so
for
that
your
we can
future.
be stable later on.
for your future.
Yes. So right now I have no value for anyone else other than the two of us. Like there's nothing that I'm going to be able to give to anyone. And that's why I don't think that it's the time for it right now.
Okay. Well, you're rationalizing why you shouldn't be out on dates.
Yeah, because it's not something that it's
We
just
can
not needed
rationalize
right now.
everything.
It's like taking a 1-year-old and saying learn math. Like it's not the time for it.
I understand that
Like-
concept, but you're not a one. First of all, you're not a 1-year-old. You're
No,
a late-year-old who needs some damn. You need to get laid, bro.
No.
And not even in that sense.
I don't see that.
Not
I
even
don't
in
need
that
it.
sense. Like basically what I'm trying to tell you is that you were talking about how you've made 2 friends. Okay?
Well, that was a
3
different
friends.
circumstance.
Make 4 friends. Make 5 friends. Maybe the way to get socially unawkward is to go and be social. Maybe that'll help you. Maybe that's where you find the connection to your next level. Maybe that's where you find your mentor. Maybe that's where you find your next step.
But see, now the question is, where do you find the connections and why you find specific connections?
By networking?
But no, but why? Like, why do you want to go and find... Let's make up someone. Say we go and we go out to eat right now, and I happen to start talking to the person next to me just because I want to make a friend. And this guy owns...
Facebook.
No. Make something stupid up that wouldn't help us in any way.
NASCAR.
He... Sure. He does
NASCAR.
advertisement for NASCAR.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I meet him. We have nothing in common. The only reason why we met and we're talking is because we're eating dinner.
Okay.
Sure, I could use him to teach me things because he does marketing for
NASCAR. There you go.
But that's not a friend.
No,
that's like
bro.
saying my teacher at school that I met is my friend because they're going to teach me something I can use them later on.
Have you ever heard of the saying that your network is your net worth?
Sure.
If you don't know anybody, what can people expect from you? Like, it's who you know in this world.
Depending on what you do. So I'm not going to go out and meet a bunch of people. Say what I'm learning right now with web programming and stuff. It's not worthwhile for me to go out and meet everyone who's in the olive making business. Like, sure, you could get... What if you got all the olive oil business and you made websites for them? Sure. Cool.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Boom.
But how is that going to help me for what I'm trying to build in the sense of...
Money.
Of advancing what I'm doing?
Money.
Okay. So then you can say it the other way around.
What?
You can say that making connections that are valuable to what you're doing will get you just as far.
No.
Why not?
Because money and emotional desires are two different things.
No, but don't you want to meet people who have the same values and wanting to do the same things that you're doing?
Unfortunately, that's not always the case.
No, maybe it's not always the case.
Some people don't have the same values. Some people don't even care what you're doing. But you still have them in your back pocket in case you ever need them. That's the networking. It's like
you and I don't have the same values. We don't like the same things. We're friends for different reasons. And
so wouldn't you say that opposites attract? And that's why we're friends? Because I learn things from you and you learn things from me sometimes.
How did we meet and why did we start talking?
How did we meet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were the only white guy who came playing handball in our court.
We never had a class together.
No.
We never had anything.
Right.
The only thing we had in common was handball. When did we talk? Handball. What did we do? Handball. We had the same interests.
Pretty gay,
That's
bro.
how we met. And we did it for so long. We did it for 3 years. So obviously we're going to talk. Obviously we had the same interests of handball. Never hung out outside of school. Never talked outside of school. Never talked in class because we never did the same classes together.
Right.
We had the same interests. We had the same value at that point. And that's where the relationship came from. And that's why I think that relationships happen in a more natural way when you have the same interests in mind for something and it consistently happens. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I've met people plenty of times where I've never met them before, and then we hit it off. And now we're great buddies.
Yeah. It's like you had that thing you were working on with all the business cards. You've met them, you've talked to them, but I mean, they'll probably forget you. More than half of them have probably forgotten who you are. Like, that's not...
What do you mean?
That's not a relationship.
What do you mean the business cards?
Like, you were working on your business cards, creating your list of contacts.
Yeah, the network.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they don't really know you. Like, they may recognize you and be like, oh, okay, I remember you now. But, like, if you just called them, they would probably not know who you are.
Well, let me tell you this. If, let's say, for the sake of argument, let's say I am doing a landscaping business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I handed out my cards 5 years ago to a bunch of people. One day, their landscaper does a crappy job. They look in their pocket and they're like, oh, what's this? Oh, this is Marco. I wonder what he's up to. I'm going to give him a call. 5 years ago, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give me a call. And they'd be like, hey, Marco, I'm in a rut. There's no landscapers that I trust. Are you busy? Are you still doing your business? I'm like, yes, I am. We meet again. Boom.
Yeah,
connection is established.
That's fine. That's a business. That's how that works. But on a personal level, that's not how life works. Like,
Okay,
life
I mean,
doesn't
I
work
have
the same way
plenty of people, dude. Do I ever talk to our friend Raul?
No.
Do I ever talk to him? No.
No.
But every time I see him, we start off at the same place when we ended.
Yeah.
And we have no interest together. Like, we have zero things in common.
Yeah, because it's easy to talk to someone you haven't seen in a long time.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
but
there's so much you can talk about. But when it comes down to the end of that, like, there's no interest, there's nothing's happening, you're done. And that's what I'm talking about. In a relationship, like, you don't want it to end. You want interest. You want to be able to continue on. You don't want a point where it's, oh, we don't have interest. All right, like, we're done. And that's what already happened.
Okay, I get that point, Greg, but you're not learning from other people. You're still stuck in that same position you were a long time ago. You know what I'm saying?
No.
There's more people that are not like that. You just haven't met them yet.
What do you mean?
Like, you're holding something that happened to you a long time ago against a bunch of other people
No.
who you don't even know yet.
No. It's like how we were talking about earlier about old people getting over things. When you get to a point where your interests don't align in the majority of things, and this person wants to do that, and you're fine, okay, I'll do it because you want to do it. Half of, let's just say, the relationship is you and one other person. The half that just went along with the other person hates everything they're doing in that situation. Okay, now it's gonna be equal. So the other person wants to do what they want. This person doesn't like that. They go along. Half of the time you're going and doing all this, whatever it is, half of the relationship doesn't like it. Eventually, someone gets over it. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, your interests have to be aligned enough to be happy.
Yes, but that's what dating's about, is to find those people who do have the common interest with you. If you don't do it, how are you ever gonna find anybody who has any interest in it the same way you do? How do you know? Because most of the time when you meet people, you just meet them. Hello, this is what I do. This is it. But what if they're like, hey,
you meet people by doing things that you're interested in? Because people who are like-minded, people who enjoy doing things that you enjoy doing, will be doing the same thing. They will be, let's say, you enjoy hiking. Like,
true.
It won't work with hiking, obviously.
I wouldn't say always true.
But if
I don't
you,
say that that's always true.
What do you mean? If you like something, you like doing something specific, whether it be picking apples or,
what if, Greg,
going on a walk at the beach, you're going to be seeing people who enjoy those things at that specific spot.
I get that. But why don't you... This is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying go against the grain. I'm saying sometimes you have to switch paths and jump over. And sometimes you do have to go against the grain to find what it is that you really want. That's the whole point. I'm not saying go date an accountant who you have nothing in common with. I'm saying go and try it. Maybe the accountant likes cooking, and they invite you over. Hey, you know what? I make a good pasta. Well, I like pasta. Isn't that enough to pique the interest a little bit? And then what if you hit things off, and now you have a sugar mama who's an accountant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for me to put in a ton of work just to find some people who you could have interest in, and then you just got to find more people that you could have interest in. Like, I don't want to waste all this time on all these people. Like, why waste all this time on all these people when you can just focus on what you want?
Doing on other things, on entertainment?
Sure.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
So why don't you just at least... It's not even productive. Because at least get out of your own head.
Though, is that you're saying that this could also be entertainment in a sense, but like how I was talking about,
but it's
you get bored of that stuff. Like, you don't enjoy it.
I
like,
get it.
You don't want to put yourself in that.
I get it, but you haven't met interesting people. You haven't met somebody who you were like, holy crap! What? You're an astronaut? Come on. You're not going to go on a date with an astronaut? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know these things. People don't tell you off the bat who they are. Like, You have to get to know people. And that's the thing. That's one of the things. What if you meet somebody who you're 100% compatible with? You have everything in common. You're going to get bored. Or they're going to get bored. Because people are often looking for things they don't have.
Well, yeah, but I mean, not everyone is the same, but you want common consistencies. Like, if someone does not enjoy running, hates running, and the other person loves running marathons, runs 2 or 3 marathons a year, like,
that's
it's going to be
true.
awkward.
That's also true. But then you're like, okay, I don't like runners. I'm never going to date runners again.
But see, that's the thing. I'm so different than the majority of people out there. It doesn't make sense for me just to go this person, that person. And that's why it doesn't work for me majority of the time, because I already know that I don't enjoy half the things this person already enjoys.
It looks like you're making your mind up prematurely. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like.
So you think that I don't completely know what I enjoy, in a sense, in others?
I would say that's partially true. Maybe you haven't experienced enough, and that's what I'm trying to get to. Maybe you haven't experienced enough to really know what it is that you want. It seems so hard for you to find it, but there's 8 billion people in the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, in LA, there's 4 million people in LA City.
I know, it was kind of weird. I was watching there's a memorial concert they do, and this lady went up to do a speech. And her husband was a war vet. What is it called, a veteran, or when they die? There's another term, isn't there?
I don't know.
Well, like her husband had died.
A war casualty? Like,
maybe.
They had a memorial for the war casualty? Yeah.
But her husband had died. She was having this whole speech about him. And then she said that she met someone through the therapies that she had.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the military, and then they got married. And I was just like, it's so weird that she's crying over her husband who died, but then married to someone else. That like those concepts, like, to me, it's that it's so weird, but it makes sense. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I get it, dude. Because my dad passed away when I was 6. Okay,
mm-hmm.
My mom never married, never dated,
mm-hmm.
ever. Like, personally, I think, well, if you have family, I think it's different. If you have like kids and you know, if you got kids, it's a little different.
Okay, tell me why.
Why?
Yeah, why do you think that?
Well, one, it's cultural.
Okay.
It's embedded in them that non-monogamous relationships, particularly Catholics, I wouldn't say all Catholics believe it, but the hard Catholics or Christian Catholics, they believe that monogamy is the epitome of what a relationship should be in terms of like sexual partners. That's one. That's a belief that they have. But at the same time, she's been lonely ever since all her kids grew up. She's been lonely, has nobody else. So at the same time, she's miserable for the choice she made a long time ago. I mean, I would have encouraged her she should have dated. She should have found somebody to keep her company. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but, you know, but in your case, it's different. It's not, it's way different.
Okay. Why do you think so?
Because I think that the kid needs both this is way too crazy. I don't want to get into it. You know, I'm gonna receive a lot of backlash from people I don't want to hear from. Basically.
Okay.
We can talk about this off the air.
It's just. That's why I'm saying I don't think I'm in a position for it, because it's not something
it's fine, Greg.
That needs to be done.
It's fine.
It's not.
It doesn't need to be done.
No.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, would you rather build connections online or connections in the real world?
To tell you the truth, the majority of the time that I have the most enjoyment is probably online.
Okay, it's because you haven't met the right people.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, it's not maybe. I'm telling you that the people building connections and relationships is an essential part of being a human. This is what we are. We're tribal people. That's why tribes were created a long time ago. That's why countries are
talking about tribal.
Nationally.
You're talking about groups of people coming together.
Yes, and then
it's still happening online. Groups of people come together. That's what.
But
you're saying because in the past that we were all together, we were always around each other. That's because these things didn't exist.
I get it, dude.
So,
but
things change.
I understand, but your human part of your human instincts, tendencies, whatever you want to call them, they don't change overnight. Technology changed in a snap. We don't change that fast. We have to evolve to these things. Eventually, we're gonna evolve to probably become telepathic.
Don't know about that.
You don't know about that. Why? How come you know what I'm talking about when I send you an emoji? I don't even.
That's
there's
because
no
we
words.
have an understanding. It's the same thing about language. How do you know that this is saying consuming? How do you know that? It's not.
Okay, you've never had those times where you finish somebody else's sentence?
I mean, yeah, because it's kind of, you already know what they're going to say.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's not because you're reading into something that they're doing. It's because you've probably heard it plenty of times.
Do you know how to read body language?
Sure.
There you go. That's one form.
People knew how to read body language a long time ago. Like, if you think about it,
that's what animals I'm saying.
Read body language.
Evolving. It eventually turns something to concrete. Sending a text is basically sending a telepathic message. Is it not?
It's because you didn't understand how it worked, is all.
But is that not what it is?
No.
So what is it?
It's just being able to read. It's the same thing as writing. Writing was not some magical thing that happened. It's just eventually everyone started to understand that this meant something specific, that these two together meant something specific, that all three of these now mean something completely different, even though this meant something different if it was by itself. It's the concept of repetitiveness until you don't have to think about it.
How do you explain the concept of yawning? Yawning was believed to be part of language.
Yeah, and sneezing, what they thought your soul was trying to escape.
Okay, but yawning in particular was an actual way that people communicated back in the day.
Yawning?
Yawning.
Communicated with yawning?
Yes.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, when somebody yawns, you yawn. Why is that? Can you explain that?
Oh, no, because I don't really even know what yawning is.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, the whole point is that, I mean, why the hell are we talking about yawning now?
I don't know.
I don't know. We went into this huge tangent, rather. The whole point of what I'm trying to make is we only have now. Enjoy it because we may not have tomorrow. If you would rather build relationships online, so be it. But I'm telling you, since I've experienced this, from my own experience, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing with you my own experience. I find it more fulfilling to meet people, learn from the people, and create relationships that you can't create anywhere else.
So then what would you say that taking something that you like and making sure that it becomes something that is worthwhile? So let's say with this. If I enjoy playing video games and putting all my time in there.
You're talking about your purpose.
Sure. And I take that and I actually turn it into something that's worthwhile. I take this video game and I make connections with everyone, and I became popular, or I had enough connection
if that's what you
to
want,
monetize it.
If that's what you want,
it's good.
If that's what you want. I can't tell you what's good or bad. You have to make that decision. I'm just sharing with you my experience.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for me, relationships trump anything else. That's basically the whole message I'm trying to relate to you.
Okay. But see, that's what I'm saying is that you can still have relationships in many different ways. Like, you have relationships in the sense of those people that you met once, they are a connection, they could come back to you at any moment. Same thing, if I make the same amount of connections online as you did for your business or in your personal time, would it not essentially be like it would be equal in a sense
if
of...
that brings fulfillment to you,
Sure.
then yes.
Okay.
If it doesn't, if it's empty and you're still trying to fill it with more, then no.
So take what you like and push it to something good.
If possible. Sometimes taking what you like is also not good.
Mm-hmm. So it's like people who, like, we'll say in California,
Like, okay,
there were drug dealers in California. Some of those drug dealers went legit now, have their dispensaries,
So
and
be
making
it.
millions, and are
Yeah,
considered
it's great.
great business people. 10 years ago, they'd be considered the drug dealers, and they'd be taken to jail.
yeah, but things change.
So just try to use what you... Because you can be addicted to something that is perfectly fine. Like, if you're addicted to eating salad, like,
Yeah,
that's
dude,
probably a great thing.
There's people who
So you
have
just need
been
to turn your addiction into something that works. Because
I
not
can
all
somewhat agree
addiction
with
is
that.
bad. When you hear the word addiction, you think shooting heroin, being
But
the drug addict down the street, walking around.
Addiction is probably one of the most overused terms in our generation.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's always attributed to drugs,
Mm-hmm.
right? But an addiction can mean anything. It's just so overused that we're beginning to lose grasp of what it actually means.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, I mean, it's an individual choice, man.
Yeah.
It's an individual choice. Like, you yourself, whoever, themselves, they need to make the conscious choice to strive for something. Otherwise, they will be left unfulfilled. Over and over and over. It creates unhappiness, makes other people unhappy. That's it. So, if you like gaming, and you want to make a career out of it, so be it. As long as you're happy, you're fulfilled with it, and you get everything you want from it.
Just don't waste your time.
Just
Don't waste others' time.
Exactly.
Just get it done.
So on that note, guys, we have successfully done 6 episodes. We'll be back here next week for the 7th episode. And I have a couple of announcements for our 9th and 10th episode. We will actually be having a couple of guests. I think we're gonna put it on our Instagram and Twitter handle. Greg, I think you have that information for them so they can stay tuned and keep tabs on us and on the show.
Yeah, we can put that in the not the description, the stuff in the bottom. Description. I can't even think of the word right now. It's description.
Yeah.
So we can put that stuff in the description and we can post it then.
All right, guys.
It's a fun one.
Powder your nuts.
Don't
Go on some dates. Get out of your comfort zone.
Use your addiction for good.